Hello and welcome to HEROGEEK Presents. And I am here with Nick and our very awesome, super great, amazing special guest, Ron Wasserman.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Uncanny Ron Wasserman, which I'm super excited about. Like, I can't believe that this is happening right now, that I'm speaking with Ron Wasserman. That's just
It's happening,
huge.
brother. It's happening.
This is
How do you
real.
know?
This is happening.
Could be somebody else.
You could be somebody else.
Could be a
completely.
deep fake.
Yeah, could be a deep fake. How's it going, Ron?
Everything's going well.
Yeah?
Enjoying life. Glad hopefully we're through the worst of all this COVID stuff, and no complaints at all.
So basically, for those who don't know, for like the one or two people who came into the stream, be like, "Who's Ron Wasserman?" Ron, why don't you explain it in your own words? Who exactly the frick you are?
I'm a composer. I've done tons of, I was in like 80s bands, and then in the 90s I ended up at a company called Saban Entertainment, where I did stuff for X-Men and Power Rangers and Sweet Valley High and Dragon Ball Z and all these other shows. So I did that there, and then went off and have done a lot of other television, and was signed with a band with my ex-wife to Universal Records and toured all over, and it's been a great adventure.
Been on Late Show. What Late Show were you on?
Oh, Jay Leno. I still remember it because as soon as we were done, I ran for the green room because I didn't want to go to the couch. She went to the couch. I was too scared. I should have gone to the couch.
Wow.
I mean, we all have those moments. We all have those regrets. It's part of life.
Yeah, I don't like live. I've never liked live playing. Never. Always had performance anxiety.
Understandable, because you got like all these people. Like, it's not like like if you're kind of in like a studio or like your own home. If you mess up, it's like, okay, let's do another take. If you mess up live, it's like, how do I recover? Please. If I do this in the next 0.5 seconds, I'll just think it's part of the show.
Stop looking at me. And the silly part is when you screw up live, the audience loves it because it makes it very human, and now you have a connection, instead of everything being like a Michael Jackson show, pre-recorded and all that kind of stuff. Well, back when.
Yeah, that's something I've always kind of found interesting, where we as a society have like the technology to create like perfect replicas of like things on a line over and over again. But the thing we as a society value is like handcrafted things, handmade.
Right.
There's still a premium on it. When like handcrafted, we perceive stuff that's handcrafted as quality. When by design they're made by humans, which they all have these flaws. And I always found that dichotomy interesting.
That's why I made my own car.
Really?
Not really.
You built your own car? Oh, I thought you built your own car. Like, whoa, that's awesome.
See, that didn't work, and we're live. Sorry.
Take two. Let's do another take.
I think it's the human connection to something being made by human hands. I think people appreciate that. I wouldn't want music made by a machine. I want music made by an actual person. Like, your music, Ron, you composed it. You made it.
Different time compared to now, where it's just things, and I'm a fan of a lot of modern stuff, but a lot of it it's the same exact format,
Four
same
chords.
sound. Yeah, and all melodies right now in pop are primarily 3 notes, 3-note melodies, and then it's kind of the same, and then severe, very heavy auto tunes become like the norm. Everybody sounds a little robotic. Not everybody, but most.
Yeah, my feelings about auto-tune are like, it's one thing if you're using it for like a vocal effect, like your T-Pain, where he's not even trying to hide the fact that like he's using auto-tune.
Then it's great.
Yeah, like that's fine. Or even Cher, like the Believe, I like that song. It's an interesting song. But like when everyone kind of sounds the same, and I mean it's not even that bad when you're kind of just like, oh, one note is off, you kind of shift it, little bit kind of here and there, it's fine, like cleanup. But when it becomes a crutch, that's kind of when it becomes.
Yeah, it seems to have become a crutch and a norm. They're charting at iTunes and I'm not, so what do I know?
Yeah, that is kind of that's basically the end of it. Like, I make money, you don't. So who's really the winner here?
Yeah, exactly. I'll use auto-tune. Tell me not to use auto-tune.
Okay, well, I kind of want to start asking you about the X-Men theme song, because I remember when I was a kid and I watched, Night of the Sentinels, the pilot episode, and I heard that the X-Men theme, it just blew me. Yeah, like what? How did you? Because were you an X-Men fan before?
I didn't even know what X-Men was because I never grew up watching comic books. My family was very. My mom didn't really listen to anything, and my dad only listened to the news. And I had a bunch of records, and I got like shortwave radios, and would kind of tune in stuff from all over the world. But as far as the thought of getting into comic books, growing up, nobody thought of it. So when that show came in, I actually went over to, I'm still friends with this guy, Ron Wasserman, who did all the sound effects on X-Men and everything else. And I said, I don't know if it was after the theme or when we were doing some of the score, but I remember going over and said, tell me what this is. And he gave me the whole history of each character in great detail and how long they've been around and what they do. I got excited about it. I did not see that opening when we were doing the theme. They cut it later to the theme, which is why it's really done well.
Yeah,
that's usually what happens. I mean, if they have a general idea, they'll go back. Sometimes I'll get a opening title sequence that's already cut that wasn't cut to any music, and basically you're kind of screwed. There's only so much you can do to hit things.
Yeah.
But on the X-Men theme, I remember seeing the final cut of the opening. I just thought it was great.
Yeah,
would you say it was excellent?
It was excellent. Very good.
I was waiting.
God.
I'm sorry. I've been holding that one in. I've been holding that one in.
That's good. But I also remember being really thrown because I think the first season, I'm not sure if they went back later and tweaked it or what, but everything back then they were mixing in mono because most of the televisions in America were still mono. I just remember listening going, that nice fat thick stereo sound is all gone, and we're listening on a 3-inch speaker. So that it was able to cut through that kind of technology for the day, I'm very happy with.
I'm surprised because, with the theme, you were able to capture the tone and the feel of the X-Men.
I had been trying to submit fast themes for all sorts of projects at Saban. I started there just one night engineering for a composer, and then I got interested in that end of the business. It took about 3 years for me to finally get in. X-Men was first. Prior to that, I tried all sorts of themes for their direct-to-home video stuff like Pinocchio or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they always came back with a kind of a WTF are you thinking? Because they wanted like Pinocchio, and I'm going and I'm bringing stuff that is so high energy that is just really fast, like this. There was this guy named Danny Kaye who did these musicals back in the 30s and 40s. I remember seeing a few times. He just was so quick with his vocal delivery and so energetic, and it was all over the place, and it was exciting. So that's what I tried to get them on board with, but no.
When you were coming up with a theme, did you draw from any existing songs or any existing music that you had heard?
The guy who was head of music there had a song with his band called Aesthetica. And he had a song called Piranha Canoe. Don't ask. I don't even know what that means.
I'm going to look that up later.
I'm sure everyone who is watching this now is like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's something online with it. And he kind of said, what about this kind of a baseline-ish idea? And then from that point on, to be honest, it's a bit of a blur because the thing took like 2 weeks. It is the longest theme I've ever worked with. The same theme. I've had other shows where I've written up to 20. The max was 27 different themes, and they ended up picking number one. And then another time 12 themes, and they picked number one. But this was just 2 weeks of work on this one theme. And I think it's because Saban was trying to really impress Fox and impress Marvel and do this whole whatever his deal was. Mm-hmm. I've said it before, I just remember more hi-hats.
So instead of more cowbell,
there was more hi-hats and then of course you push that up and now it's cutting in the way of a synth, so you bring that down. They're like, now we can't hear this. Now bring up the kick. You bring up the kick. Now we can't hear the attack on the bass line.
It's too kicking.
I do remember when they said it's done, I felt like I had just accomplished a triathlon.
Wow. All right, Gilly's on, so I'm gonna add him now. Hello, Gilly. How's it going?
Hello.
What's going on, guys? Oh man, woof, hold up. The goosebumps.
We got a case of the starstrucks here. You know,
yeah.
Starstrucks.
Oh man, I just got chills. Ron, thank you so much for joining the show. And I don't mean HEROGEEK. I mean Mr. Wasserman. Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. Means so much to us and to HEROGEEK and to Nick. Nick, how'd you do it?
Ron's an acquaintance of mine, and we kind of go back a few years, and he's been more than gracious. And I did a project once. He interviewed me. I did get an A on it, Ron. So thank you for that.
Oh, hey, my picture changed. Now it's widescreen. Excellent.
Yes, we have entered the 2000s. Congratulations.
Are you in a parking lot somewhere? Or are you driving?
If you want to know the story, okay, so just to sum it up real quick, I'm a father of two. My daughter was just born about 3 weeks ago.
Well, I got you.
My 3.5-year-old son's been jealous. There's stages of regression, and today's just so random where I'm supposed to go to work, and wifey just gave me that look like, you need to stay home. So we did an impromptu trip to the farm, and we just got in, and I know it's going to be a little hectic in there with the noise, so I got to stay professional. I can't, have the dog barking, have the kids screaming. So I'm like, you know what, let me just get in my car. And hopefully it's a little quieter here so we can do the stream.
I mean, do what you gotta do.
When my boy was young, he's 17 now, I would go to the car for phone calls.
There you go.
Because I couldn't be on with a room full of producers and have them in the background, Daddy, 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 Daddy.
It's like
why aren't you wearing any pants, Daddy?
Yeah, that won't sit well with them.
That's funny.
No,
So
this is a PG rated stream. Maybe PG-13 if HEROGEEK deems it, but
Yeah. So we were just discussing his work on X-Men and how he came up with the theme. He was telling us how for different shows he's come up with several different themes and they've chosen one, but how for this show it was just the only one he came up with, right?
Yeah, and we just kept working on it and working on it and working on it and working on it and working on it. 2 weeks. It's
perfection and it's so iconic.
Yeah, the fact that it's been able to remain in the zeitgeist for so long is really astounding.
Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But that's because of the show. No, I mean the theme is I love it, but the show is just superb.
It might not be as memorable if it was part of Bippity Boppity.
Yeah, yeah.
The symphonic suite, I believe.
Here they go.
No, that symphonic suite. How long did it take for you to set that up? Because I think with Power Rangers, you had to do it super quick. Did you have a 24 hour? Yeah.
2.5 hours from we need it to done with my guide vocal on it. And
oh my God!
And that was Mighty Morphin, right? That was the first.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, just poured out of your fingers.
I said, "Who are we going to get to sing it?" Because I've never sung on anything, and they said, "No, it's done. We're not going to touch it." They loved it, and I went, "Oh." All right,
that's what's you're in the zone. You're in the zone, and to get that done in the time frame you did, it was incredible. So Power Rangers, as symbolic as it is, the show is what got everyone plugged in, and there's nothing like that. The guitar riff and everything, just just getting you in, and they're like, "Go, go, Power Rangers!" That was just it. And me in junior high school, that was just a big thing for me. It's special.
Fun.
Ron's music is one of the things that got me into music. I mean, you can see my guitar behind me. It's partially due to you, Ron.
I've heard from a lot of people over the years that got into it. What's funny is they all picked up guitars. I don't play a damn note. It was all done on the keyboard.
Oh, speaking of which, my favorite story is yours, the Eddie Van Halen story. Please tell that one.
Oh yeah. So with my ex-wife, we were in a band called Fisher. We signed to Universal, and Eddie Van Halen's wife, Valerie Bertinelli, was a big fan. And she took one of our songs and put it in one of her movie of the week thing that she did. So our manager called and said, the Van Halens want to know if you want to come up to the house and hang out. Well, Valerie wants to know. We're like, wow. So, it's literally it is the first time I've driven. So it was off of up in the hills of Los Angeles, off this Coldwater Canyon. It's the very first time I've driven into what would be an estate. And just remember walking up to the house and, we're in there and sitting there. We're starting to watch the show, and then I hear, pss, 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 and I turn around and it's Eddie Van Halen. He goes, come on. And he takes me into the kitchen and he opens up the freezer and he pulls out a bag with a bone in it. It says, not for soup. He says, do you know what this is? And I said, no. He goes, it's my hip bone. And we just kind of.
Are you saying he had a bone to pick with you?
Yeah.
Wow.
A hip bone. Oh my gosh, man. That's a collectible right there.
To give you an idea of this house, which was just gorgeous, I was just kind of nosing around downstairs because, you got to look down the hallways and stuff. And Valerie said, go ahead and look. This is either before Eddie or after. And I open up a door and it's a racquetball court, which you would think it might be a bathroom. It's a full-blown racquetball court jammed with amps and cables and mics.
Wow.
Strictly set up for him to record. But so after we spoke a bit, he said, so he handed me a guitar and he said, show me how you played that Power Rangers riff, because I had to learn. He was a big fan. And I put the guitar down and went to the piano and played it.
He wants you to jam on the strings. He's like, hold on. Let me get the piano. That's funny.
For frick's sake,
Yeah, and I go, yeah, it's
so
like a MIDI keyboard running through, what by today's standards is considered a joke setup. It was pretty funny, but he was fascinated by it too, because it's got really nothing to do with the gear. I mean, he had a sound, but it has to do with what you get out of it. Surprisingly, he played a little bit of it and then, had forgotten he had learned it years earlier for his kid.
I was just going to ask if he was able to match it on the string just by hearing you go on the keyboard, like if he was able to match it, and you said he was like...
Yeah, from what I remember, he nailed it. And
that would have been, that's special. Hey man, that's a treat. That's a treat, man. Oh,
I remember we ended up later on at the studio 5150s on the property, and we ended up in the studio, and he said, play piano and I'll play drums. And I'm just playing some rhythm stuff, and he's on the drum kit. He was a great drummer. So it was a lot.
Not many people could say they've jammed with Eddie Van Halen.
Not many.
Sheesh, that's talent right there.
We hung out for a couple months, and then it just as he and Valerie were going their separate ways,
So one thing I'm kind of curious about, did your association with Valerie, did it got hot in Cleveland?
My ex was still friends with her. I hadn't seen her. And then when I got the show, I told the producers, don't tell Valerie that I have anything to do with it, expecting to surprise her. So, but she had read the call sheet and saw my name. I put up with Kathy Fisher, and all I hear is I see Val, and she looks up, she goes, Kathy, and runs up to Kathy, and she just was messing with me, pretending I wasn't there. And then we spent a lot of time together for the next 5 years on that set. 4 years. We did 5 seasons in 4 years.
And I'm assuming Betty White was just as awesome as we're led to believe.
So cool. And my best experience with her was I had to, for one show, she had to play drums. So I came in and was teaching her, just basically how to drum. And at the other end, they're rehearsing scenes, and you don't make a sound when they're doing that. So I've got Betty, and she's like, I can't hear you. And I'm like, well, just hit that hi-hat a little harder, swing your arm a bit more.
More hi-hat. More hi-hat.
Yeah, more hi-hat. And
nice.
And then I hear, hey, from the director down there, and I said, I'm working with Betty. And I hear, all right, everybody, take a break.
So Betty White gets what Betty White wants.
What Betty White wants, Betty White gets.
She's literally older
than sliced bread. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sharp as sharp can be.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, I did want to ask a little bit more about the X-Men. Now, did you just compose the main theme, or did you compose music for the actual show itself?
I did a fair amount for the show. And there was another guy whose name I can't remember that also did a fair amount for it. But after that, I remember they had me working on a bunch of other projects. So I wasn't 100%, I'm not 100% sure of how much I did. But at the rate I was cranking things out in those days, maybe half.
I'm watching the show, and I love how they're able to incorporate your theme into the actual episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, I've noticed that Cable has a really great theme on the show. Did you compose that theme?
I don't.
You don't remember?
Okay. I gotta be honest. Yeah, it's going to be 30 years next year.
Gotcha.
30 years, you know.
Yeah,
Man,
I know.
that's awesome though. That's awesome though.
And that's just one night of many, many, many things I've worked on. So my whole thing has been, as soon as it's done, I forget about it and move on.
You gotta make room in the mind. You gotta make room in the brain. You gotta make room.
Yeah, and you've got to start fresh. Like I never.
Yeah.
Some people use templates with pre-made sounds. I never do it. I always start from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, every single show. I'll keep it once the sound's established, but I always like to start fresh. But that was it was crazy days. But that's when I officially went from engineering for the other guys to writing for everything they had, and they were doing a ton of direct-to-home video stuff, which I was just banging out.
Did you become an X-Men fan after the show, or?
Oh yeah.
Who's your favorite?
I'd go in and watch it with my friend Ron, who was doing sound effects, and I'd just go hang in there and watch it because it was so fun. Usually I tell them, let me know when you're at the end or near the end and you're going to run the whole show down, and we'll just hang out and watch it for a bit.
Did you ever sit in on any of the voiceover sessions or anything like that? No? Okay.
I don't think they were done at Saban. On Power Rangers, the mixing engineer, a guy named Bob Monahan, was the voice of Zordon, so I saw that a few times. Which was like,
that's cool.
Now,
it was the Wild West back then. Oh, you mix the show? Can you also do a voice? It's just
that's amazing, man.
Who's your favorite X-Men?
Storm.
Storm is pretty awesome. She's great.
I mean, how can you go wrong with Storm?
Storm is good.
Yeah, but imagine how quickly she could go to the store and pick stuff up for you.
I like a lot of them. I'm a big fan of Rogue. Storm is a great one.
They're all great.
Gambit, Wolverine.
Kind of a slob, that guy. You know, you'd always be cleaning up. There'd be scratch marks on everything.
I do have an interesting question because a couple of years ago, I was actually kind of friendly with John Ottman. He is the composer for the X-Men movies. And I found out from him that at one point, they were planning to use your theme for the movies. Do you know anything about that?
No.
Really?
I mean, I saw something once where they had the actors. They said, "Do you remember it from the '90s?" And they had them sing it, which was really fun to watch. But other than that, no, I had no idea.
Yeah, I was really compelled by that. I kind of wish they would have used your theme. I mean,
but they probably would have turned it into some giant orchestral slop pop.
They always ruin the good stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Same as when they recut that Power Rangers theme with Mr. Big for the first film.
And then when they did the reboot a few years back, the one time they used a Power Ranger theme when the Zords were chasing, it was the original movie theme. Like, do you have any insight on why they used that theme instead of like yours?
I haven't got a clue. Maybe they still add the masters to that. I know when Disney bought Saban, all the masters, everything's gone.
Disney bought everything. Crap.
Yeah, they buy everything.
But, so speaking of Disney, tell us of how you got involved with SPD. You know.
I just out of the blue, I got a call from a guy named Steve Vincent one day at Disney, and he said, "Your name came up, and we'd kind of like to get back to the rock thing. Are you interested in submitting a theme?" That probably took an afternoon to write, and I went, "This is really energetic. You know, the vocals are pushing the beat a bit, which makes it even more nervous." And sent it, and a couple days later, I remember then I was visiting someone on the East Coast, and I got the call, and they said, "Everybody loves it. Put some sirens on it." So I called my friend Ron, who did the sound effects on X-Men. I said, "Can
put sirens in there."
You put sirens.
Wow. Yeah. So, out of all the themes you've done, which one is your favorite and why?
The original Go-Go Power Rangers. I love the long version, but if you're talking about a 1-minute theme, I like SPD the best, just because it's so over the top. It's just, you can just picture the whole band is just, it's like they're all drank 90 cups of coffee.
The
Everybody's
crowd's going wild.
going as fast as they can.
Yeah. Have you been approached to do anything recently?
For you mean by Hasbro? No, I thought when they first took it over, we were chatting a bit up and back, and then I remember writing. I can't remember one of the producers, and they said, "Oh, the director, whoever has their person already. Thank you very much." As far as that whole Power Rangers thing, it's been very peculiar to me that even on other shows, I would say, "Hey, I think a rock theme will work." It's not like I walked in with that for every show, but they said no.
You're the rock guy, because Hollywood like to put people into pigeonholes.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I did hear that there was a rumor going around that Disney might do another X-Men show, sort of loosely based on the '90s show.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So maybe they'll give you a call there. That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be great.
You know.
That would be wonderful, but you just never know. They might go, a big name guy who will, again, it'll turn into just a bunch of session players.
And then Disney could be
no
like,
disrespect to the session guys.
And that's what I love about your original X-Men theme, because it had that kind of angst, that kind of edge to it.
And that bass line is just, it's fun to play because you're just slamming on the, it's, I can't remember what key it's in. It's like, trying to get that energy through it and get that attack. You have 50 sounds to pick from.
I just wanted to ask one question. Let's say hypothetically they do this new X-Men show loosely based on the '90s. Let's say they do that, and they go to you. Do you channel? Do you like remaster like kind of what's already a masterpiece in how iconic that symphonic suite is, or do you want to take it in another direction but still channel that same essence of how you created that?
You channel the same essence. Well, depending on their notes, but let's say they said just come up with something that
they're taking off the chains. They're like, just give us a new piece, for this updated show.
I would do something far enough away that maybe had a slight flavor, but I would do something completely different because it would warrant that. You want it to have a whole new sound, even though you want to go back and it would be fun, maybe do a different bass line with those 16th notes, but it's just, there's no real reason to. That was then and it had its place.
Awesome.
So
I wouldn't recycle. I would try something new, and then they would probably say we were expecting something closer to the old one, and then I do something like that.
Basically, you'd want to do something different, but kind of from the same mold, cut from the same mold, whatever. Now,
I think just maybe up the energy a bit more too. So psychologically, when they compare them, they would go, "Wow, this one's got a bit more oomph to it," which of course is easier with today's technology. But definitely no lyrics. Even back then, I remember playback. I would always joke around with everybody who's around. X-Men.
Yeah. By the way, did you see the original pilot episode for the X-Men show that was before the '90s one? Prior to the X-Men, did you see that? No, with the Australian Wolverine.
No.
Yo, mate, I'm gonna get you with my claws, mate.
Yeah, that was really weird, but that had an interesting theme song. Now, what did you think of the theme songs for like X-Men Evolution or Wolverine and the X-Men?
Really good stuff. I mean, really great. But those people were pre-screwed because the original was already out there. True. It's the same thing with Power Rangers.
I love
or any other show. It's you can change it up. So you can either do a new version of it like they did years ago on Hawaii 5-0, or you have to just do something completely different, but that's as monumental.
And I know that after Mighty Morphin, a couple of the shows after that sampled your theme in ways, but then eventually they got away from that.
Yeah, and they still, I've heard they still take the vocals and pop them in now and then. So
that's nice. Kind of like I feel like that's kind of the problem with more recent, like the new Saban era, kind of going into Hasbro, where they try to do it both ways, and end up kind of failing both. Where it's like they want to go forward, but they try to go back. Like the themes always kind of include like Go Power Rangers.
Yeah,
like I think like the Disney era, I feel like really kind of channels your energy with themes. Like I feel like the themes of the Disney era were really good, high upbeat. Yours included.
Yeah.
But when they kind of got
Mystic Force.
What?
Except Mystic Force.
Well, the alternate versions are a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of whether we're going to ever use mine. So the story on that, for people who don't know, they called me the following year from Mystic Force. I did a rock thing. They called back and they said, we love it. And then a week later, they called and they said, a couple of the younger producers are really into rap and they would like a rap thing. And at first I laughed.
Are you serious? What?
You're like
that's going against the grain.
You're serious?
No, I'm serious. Oh,
Okay, Shirley.
Okay. I said, well, I'm going to try something, but it's going to be bad. Even if I bring in a rapper, it's going to be bad.
So you warned them. You
It's
warned
a
them.
different art form. It's a different art form. And it's fine. So I did one, and he called me, he goes, you're right. It's bad.
They're trying to go with the trends, and it's like they probably missed out on an opportunity to get a good piece.
It's very different. I mean, I remember doing a show called Little Shop of Horrors. This is just a reminder. I forgot all about this.
Oh, wow.
With Saban, and we did a bunch of rap, but we did it with real rappers. Like, some of them would suddenly show up at my house. I don't even know how. They're like, dude, can you loan me $200?
Oh, wow.
Like, it was there was a period of time where ultimately they were very nice guys. There was a guy named Prophet, and he was great, but you had to be very careful at the same time.
Yeah, they're too close to their vices, and they're like, "Oh man, Ron was a great guy. We jammed hard. Hey, let me $200, man."
So,
Oh man,
are there any
That's funny.
projects or shows that you would have liked to have worked on that you never got to?
Non-animation I came in second, almost had the theme for Parks and Recreation, which I thought was a great show.
Wow.
that'd have been cool.
When King of the Hill started, I delivered a whole bunch of like really cool acoustic guitar stuff and never even heard back from them. And then I watched the show and I went, that's remarkably close to what I was doing. But I mean, you can't really say, how did somebody else not think to do acoustic guitar for this show about this type
Texas,
of
Texas,
family?
yeah.
Yeah, and that King of the Hill theme is like honestly iconic in of itself.
Mhm.
That was already a song though. That was done by a band. That do 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 do. I was so fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a great thing. But just the score, and that would have been wonderful. So
This-
those are two I lost.
Yeah. Okay, this one's for
So-
Gilly. Did you ever get an opportunity to work on any Ninja Turtles show or no?
I think,
Oh man, that's funny. Okay,
Yeah.
Ron, did they
I
come to
love
you?
Ron's face. Like, oh my god, I've seen things.
I know you'd have crushed it.
No, that was still when I was learning how to get from songwriting to scoring. Those
Yeah,
3
but
years.
any of the shows afterward, because they had like 2003, they had one, they had it in 2000.
So you had no involvement with like Next Mutation, which was kind of done by Saban.
Yeah.
with what?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation.
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, because I was thinking that was a Saban production, but that was kind of during the In Space era, and you were kind of like
About what year? What year was that?
During when Power to Space was going on. So 97 maybe. 98,
Oh, see,
kind
I was already. I had left in the end of '95.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they handed me Dragon Ball Z to score and just said, "Do whatever you want." We done.
Oh,
That's what you gotta do. You gotta let them go.
so
man.
Dragon
You gotta
Ball
let 'em
Z.
go.
Did you do the intro theme or
No, I
just
did not
like,
do Rock the Dragon, but the entire first two seasons, possibly 3, I did the entire score wall to
No
wall.
wonder the music sounds so good in the
Nice.
first few seasons.
It's so fun, but it's I did it at home on a 19-inch tube TV with a VHS player. One side had SMPTE time lock, time code, so that I could lock the computer to it, which bled through. And the other side was just all the dialogue and effects, and just scored it that way. Bounced that mix off to a digital audio tape and sent it back to him. Never heard a word. Never even thought about the show later. And about 2015, somebody wrote and said, "I heard you worked on that show. That's like it's a cult classic." I had no idea.
So I saw your IMDb. I saw you had done a few video games. One thing I was kind of curious is what is like the biggest difference you can kind of compare and contrast between working on a video game and working on a show? Because obviously they're two very different mediums. Like, what's the big difference in like your approach? Like, how do you like kind of go to it? Like, I just want to hear what you say.
Well, back then, I had very limited memory, and they were MIDI files that would trigger the sound card in a PC. So you have 128 sounds to pick from, that's it. Secondly, you have to do the score kind of looking at rough images of what they do because they haven't put the game together yet. And then I would get a note back saying, this is cool, but the file needs to be 2 kilobytes smaller. We only have 12 kilobytes for it, or kilobits. And I'm like, all right, so you find a way to just make it work. Fast forward to the video game I had started on 4 years ago that'll be out next year, and then another one I did this year that'll be out in January. The sky's the limit. He would just send me artwork, and I would just come up with stuff.
Can we get a hint of what those games are?
The next one is called, it's not the next, it's the, oh shit.
I know you're working on the Nothing. I know you're working on the Nothing.
It's nothing. It's the Nothing. It's also called the New World, or
they changed it.
Yeah, he changed it. Nothing will be the first chapter. The other one is called New Terra, which is more of an arcade space flying thing.
Okay.
So he said, okay, we're still going to work on the other game, but I want to bang out this little game just to get it out there and kind of work through setting myself up as a developer for Sony, Microsoft, which it actually turned out it's really good that he did that.
Yeah.
And then he would send me what I thought was the final graphics, and I would say, this looks pretty good. He would write back like, what are you thinking? I spent an hour on this. Fast forward, as he polished things up, it's like unbelievable. He's a one-man operation. He just quit. He like started writing code when he was 12 and quit school at 15 and
very cool.
Started making a fairly good living from that point on. And he just can write code. He does it for like all the recycling in Los Angeles, and it's spectacular what he's able to do. I just don't understand. But I've learned a lot about game creation, which is fascinating. Like when you swing to the left, all the graphics that you're swinging away from immediately have to be.
Oh yeah, that's called culling. I believe it's called culling.
And then he was just showing me new technology that Apple developed for facial recognition, which they're now using in video games, which have like 100 different slight movements for everything on the face. And that works with the motion capture suit. I think we're about 5 years away from when people are walking and talking to where you're going to think it's a real person. You can
the
graphics will get that way, yeah.
Like in the holodeck in Star Trek or something like that.
Yeah, we'll finally be able to get past the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, it's gonna be spectacular. I mean, you already can't tell half these Netflix films, the backgrounds are fake, and you can't.
I mean, heck, look at what Disney has been doing with their de-aging technology.
Yeah,
been getting really good. Their kind of head replacements, because like they've been doing this as like I remember Tron Legacy in 2011. They replaced Jeff Bridges' head. It looked bad. But like I saw someone, they just did a simple deep fake, a consumer grade program. They deep faked, redid it, and it looked so much better. Like you can kind of tell it was kind of still like bobbleheads in it, but it looked so much better. And this was with consumer grade technology.
Yeah, I was impressed with Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. That was pretty. Oh yeah, that was pretty awesome.
The Leia they did. Oh my god.
Yeah,
it is remarkable the stuff that they can do. And then watching what drains the system, it changes everything. And you see that the palm tree's moving with all the little leaves individually moving. They're draining the most. So that's where all the energy's going, and the city's not, of course. And it's just, to me, it was pretty fascinating. So I'm thinking now with Apple having these new MX1 Pro chips or whatever, Max chips.
Yeah, the Pro and the Max, I saw something about that.
It's going to be, I mean, I'm on all M1 chips here. I mean, my composing setup went from stacks of Monster and the old cheese grater Max and all that to a Mac Mini. I can do a full orchestral mock-up on it. It doesn't even,
it's really
doesn't even get warm. It looks.
You're playing with power now.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
The power is yours.
I wanted to ask you one thing about you talked about artwork and how you came up with some of this video game scores. Like you just looked at some artwork. I don't know if maybe I wasn't here for this. With X-Men, were you a big fan already, and what drove you to make that score? The same thing with Power Rangers. Like, I know Power Rangers, you were on a crunch. Did you see artwork of Power Rangers? Was it just like, hey, it's these kids, they find this stuff, and it's just, they turn into these things, they morph, and like, you went with that? How did you get into that space of where creativity just exudes, and you just flow?
I think they just had a few drawings for X-Men, and yeah, you had missed it. My friend was doing sound effects, and I remember going over and saying, do you know what this is? And he was a big sci-fi comic book guy, so he gave me the rundown on everything, which got me pretty excited about it. Power Rangers, I honestly don't think I saw a single thing. They just came in, they said it's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I went, morphine? I do remember asking.
Morphine Power Rangers, they get their power from morphine.
Well, obviously, you're not doing morphine, but is it morphine? Like, it's morphine.
Yeah.
It's Mighty Heroin Rangers.
Oh my gosh. So they didn't even give you a premise, they just gave you the title. Listen, this is the show, give us something in this amount of time.
Yeah.
And you just cranked it out like one of the most classic intros you'll ever get for 90s TV.
But on other
incredible.
Shows, they just send what they call, the Composer Bible. It's like a paragraph. It says, there will be 5 superheroes, different colors. Then two girls, 3 guys. They give you the break. They go around and say.
So you never saw the original Sentai show that it was based on? Nothing. Absolutely
nothing. It was just, we need a theme for this thing tonight.
Yeah,
you nailed it, man. You nailed it. Nailed it.
Well, I like extreme deadlines.
Uh-huh.
You like the pressure. You work well under pressure, huh?
Under pressure.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Pressure's really good. Really, really good. And an almost impossible deadline brings it out in me the best. Whenever I hear No Rush, I'm like, you just screwed.
You screwed me up. You need a deadline to deliver.
Like, let's do this. Let's get this done.
Yeah. Gilly here has an amazing comic book called Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, and partly was inspired a little bit by Power Rangers. Isn't that right?
The title with Grom, Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, we're trying to channel that 80s, 90s Saturday morning cartoon nostalgia. Power Rangers fits right in there. Because even though it wasn't a cartoon, but it just got home, and you just Power Rangers, and the catchy intros are part of that template. So the inspiration was definitely there, and me and my buddy, he rattled out, we're thinking about an anthropomorphic animal because we're influenced by TMNT. So Ron, I don't know if you're familiar with the capybara, but the capybaras, they're the largest rodents in the world. I didn't know either. Okay, I Googled. He told me they're the most chill animal in the universe. That's literally what he said. And when I Googled, I found them with turtles, I found them with ducks, with monkeys. It's until I found them with crocodiles, and it wasn't Photoshop, like they literally get along with crocodiles. I'm like, this big rodent, this big pork chop here, and like the croc ain't even going for it. Like, what respect there they give the capybara? Like, it's something like, I was enamored with the capybara. So we're like, okay, we got the animal capybara. And then my buddy said, Rodents of Mayhem will be the title. I'm like, okay, Rodents of Mayhem. I'm like, you know what? Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. And that was it. It tied it all together. And what was funny is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has 8 syllables. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's 8 syllables. And when they made Power Rangers, they said, we need 8 syllables like Ninja Turtles. And they, and there was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's 8 syllables. So when we came up with Grom, Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, it just fit in with the 8 syllables. And I'm like, that's a good sign. I don't want to get a little ahead of myself, but it was just,
Yeah, and then we need to have 5 of them. There need to be 5 of them.
Well, so far we got 3, so, maybe 2 more might come in the future.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Spoken by the legend.
It's just weird. There's kind of always, in a lot, I mean, you can have 3, but it seems like there usually is 5.
Well, all right. I'm something to consider.
I mean, because of those days, they went, okay, well, we'll have, how things work.
Yeah.
We'll have 4 white guys, and then a white girl, and then 1 non-white.
The token is minority.
Yeah.
So Gilly even had a theme song done, but I'll tell you one thing: if he had known you back when he was doing it, he probably would have had you do it. Like, you would have kick that out of the park.
If I knew there was a connection there, I wouldn't even hesitate. I would have.
Yeah.
I just chomping at the bit at just thinking about that possibility. But I had to go with
after the show.
Hey, if Ron's available and I could afford his rate, I would totally. Let him hear it, because if he gets to hear the theme song. So Ron, we have two things. We got the theme song, which was definitely cartoon inspired, and it's definitely catchy. Right. I wrote the lyrics to everything, and I found a guy, and I just told him, hey, these are the lyrics. I'm like, I'm trying to go with Saturday morning cartoon. Think of like TMNT, and he nailed it out the park. And then we even have a symphonic suite. Like, we even have a little symphonic suite, and I gave him your piece. I gave him the '90s X-Men. I said, give us a symphonic suite. I'm like, here's some energy. And we had so Ron, on the Kickstarter, we go down to we have the Saturday morning cartoon intro, and then we have the symphonic suite, so you can hear the symphonic suite, because that one I gave your piece to my guy Zalin Talis, and he came up with some great stuff.
Should I play some of it now? What do you think?
If you put a snippet just to get Ron's feedback, I'd gush just to get honest feedback, what he really thinks. Ron knows good. He knows, right? Ron, you can hear something, and they're just maybe shortcutting with some of the production. Like, you'll know if it's catchy, at least if it's maybe marketable. He'll know. This guy knows.
Well, send it over. I'll listen right now.
Yeah, we appreciate this, Ron. You've been really great.
Yeah, Ron, and it's an indie comic. It's more underground, and the audience is TMNT, Star Wars. It's that demographic, and all I want to do is recapture that nostalgia that I grew up on as a kid, and divvy it out in a new, fresh way. But paying homage to the ones that were there before. I don't want to like reboot anything. I want to channel that energy. It's almost like a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing, it's just being redone, it's being rebooted and rehashed, and it's just with no substance. There's no soul in it, and I kind of miss that. I kind of want to get where you can take a risk and bring in a new IP. It's not just, well, let's reboot this for the umpteenth time because there's a baked-in fan base, and we got we'll just make some money.
It's because everything's done by committee now. It used to be like a head guy. That was the good thing about Saban. The buck stopped with Chaim Saban. You may have got a few notes on the way, but he did it. Now it's like 12 guys, varying in experience and age, and it's just, all right, here we go.
The conglomerate.
I sent you both the links that HEROGEEK sent me. So, which one should you listen to first?
I think the opening crawl he's listening to.
I like it. I feel you, Gilly. Like, seriously. You must be happy.
That's cool.
That's cool.
It's okay, Gilly. It's okay. You can breathe.
This is cool, man. Nick, you're the man for making this happen.
No, you're the man. You did Dr. Gross Mayhem.
I think it's great.
I like it. It's okay, Gilly.
Cool.
Oh, I'm so happy this is happening.
Oh, man.
Yes, Gilly, this is actually happening.
Oh, man.
This is great. I like the theme, honestly.
Oh, man, hello.
Great melody.
Is it okay? Could it hang?
Great.
Wow. Okay.
When they come up at the end, have a low note hit. I was waiting.
Man.
That's nothing, right?
Yeah. That's Zalin Talis from Australia. He's amazing, and anytime I do a new comic, I go to him for an original score because I'm a visual guy. If I do a comic, I'm big on films too, filmmaking. I need a piece to go with the visual, so he's my guy for that.
Stuff is really hard to do. It takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought he did a great job, and that melody is really memorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, do you want to play the theme song with the lyrics? That's really cool too.
Oh wait,
That was the other link that you got.
And it's the same guy. It's the same guy. And I wrote the song out, and I said, "Hey, make it happen." He did everything. I just wrote the lyrics.
Heading back over. Facebook open. Back messages. Back.
Cooperate, Facebook, please.
Come on, especially for this one. Come on.
There we go. There's the opening theme. Here we go.
It's a banger.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, baby, yes. It works. Does it channel that energy? Does it have that energy?
Yep, it's got that energy.
Could we bring Saturday morning cartoons back?
And I'm listening on I'm
This
listening
theme
on
probably can.
LG monitor speakers, and it sounds wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome,
Yeah, I mean, it was
awesome.
like before me and Gilly are really good friends now, but back, I was on Indiegogo one day and I saw this Galactic Romance of Mayhem, and he had that theme song in there, and that theme song is what got me. I gotta back this comic, and I got to read it. And
the
then
theme song.
that was the thing that convinced me that I need to know more about this. And I messaged him on Facebook, and we've been really, really good friends since.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's dark now.
Appreciate that.
The car is dark.
Yeah.
Can you still see me?
Yeah, we can still see you.
I had to take the sunglasses off.
Yeah.
But Ron, you made my day just with the organic feedback. I'm grinding it out. We're in the trenches, just trying to get our book out there. And I know it's marketable. I know it has potential. It's just a matter of getting it out there. Just in today's market, it's just the competition is Disney. It's it's the big properties, and the indie guys. It's hard to just get that exposure. But we stay grinding, and hopefully one day,
Hey, it's the same thing.
Something happens.
Yeah, Gilly just launched a Kickstarter because he had a campaign on Indiegogo, which is the first full volume, but now he just relaunched on Kickstarter. So, check it out. If you see it and then it catches your interest, check it out because it's really, really. Yeah, support it because Gilly is the man. He is awesome. He's an amazing writer.
I appreciate it, guys. I'm trying.
And he writes a banger of an opening theme.
Yes, he does.
That's the only credit I could take is that I wrote the song. I didn't do nothing with the sound, but I wrote the song. I gave it to Zalin. I'm like, listen, this is the lyrics. Make this happen. Saturday morning cartoon. And he did it. So, and the fact that the legend enjoys it and thinks it's cool.
That's it.
I'm good, man. Give Zabon a call. Tell him if there's a fresh new IP we can bleed out. We can, if he wants to take it back to Disney, we got something to work with.
Yeah, I think
I'm messing around. He's done. He's retired. I know.
I don't even.
They're retiring and relaxing.
I saw him was outside of his office like 2001 when he
wow
in the middle of LA. I saw him getting out of a limo.
Awesome.
Hi.
That's awesome.
And he's like, wait,
man.
who was that? I kind of recognize the voice.
Who are you?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
That's funny. Man, that's a while back, yeah.
Nick, I just sent you the link to the Kickstarter, so if you want to send it to Ron later on, he can check it out on his own time.
Right now.
Yeah, just so you can see the artwork at least, just to see that it sounds good and we got some stuff going. But imagine if you look at the artwork and it doesn't look good. So yeah, just take a look and
Well, it looked
the artwork
really
is
good in
amazing.
the
Come on.
YouTube video. So
that's right. He saw the artwork. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
great.
Ron, what did you think of Torrent Samurai? I know you have a copy.
Oh, that was great. I'm sorry. I thought
I'm sorry, but that was a while ago.
I thought you were already asking. No, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm editor on that book, at least issue 2.
I got a lot of
Issue
appreciation for anybody that can do anything visual. I can't even draw stick people.
Yeah. So right now, so just so you know, right now I'm working on issue 2, Torrent Samurai, and that should be coming kind of in the spring. I'll let you know when it happens. So you can kind of check it out and whatnot. So issue 2 is coming.
Ron, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to just hang with these geeks
definitely.
here, and just I guess flow and mellow out. It was cool.
Yeah, I've always
a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You're way cooler than all of us.
Yes.
He's a rock star.
You're a literal rock star. You're a literal rock star.
Literal rock star, man.
You guys have a lovely afternoon. This was big fun, and let's do it again.
Definitely.
Yes,
right on. We'd love to.
Yes.
Totally for that, for sure, man. We got to have you on again.
And Gilly, good luck with the kids. Hopefully, you don't go in. And...
I appreciate it. I know. I appreciate it. I know the wife is probably begging for me to, just tap her out right there. So I'm definitely gonna have my hand. Yep, definitely gonna have my hands tied. But Ron, again, thank you so much, HEROGEEK, and Nick. Again, you're a great dude, and I'm looking forward to read your comic. Thank you so much, Ron. Till next time. Hope it's sooner than later. Peace out. Peace.
And may the power protect you.
Talk again.
All right, later.
This was great. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.